Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening in the podcast. It is September 11, 2024, Wednesday. I wanted to come here, guys. Finally, I'm able to start a new season of the podcast and create more content here for my YouTube channel. As you guys know, if you follow my YouTube channel, I posted about 3 or 4 weeks ago that I was going to take a break because I was getting ready for New York Fashion Week. And besides creating the collection and getting ready for that show, there was a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. And I was like, I don't want to just create content just to create. I want to take a break from it. It became a little overwhelming. A lot of changes happened in my life in this month of August, which I'm very grateful for. And it's already September 11, brand new month. I already had the show on New Year Fashion Week this past Sunday. It was great, and I will be doing a testimony video about that. And that way you can see photos. So if you are listening in the podcast, I encourage you to follow my YouTube channel, Julissa Designs, or you can follow my Instagram account also, Julissa Designs. But as I was taking a break, I became like a sewing marathon for me the past 3 weeks. I at one point it was, I had said many times this was probably one of the most difficult fashion collections I ever created in my life. I've been sewing now for a long time, and up to the day before the show, I was like, I'm not even gonna go. It was just this battle. I don't know what it was, and when that happens to you as a Christian, once you have a revelation, I'm like, wait a second, why am I fighting this so bad? Or who is fighting for me not to do this? And then, it was a lot of crying, a lot of mistakes that I was making with the sewing. And I was like, wait a second, because when I signed up for the show, I knew it was a blessing. When I started the collection, I knew it was a blessing. And I know the blessing of the Lord will not bring you sorrow. So I was like, why is this happening? So I will make a testimony video about that. But before, I don't want to get too deep into speaking about something that this is not what the video is about. As I was taking breaks in between sewing, I did notice a bunch of stories coming through, a lot of breaking news and a lot of things that were happening that were very shocking for me to hear. And it's almost like, wow, in an instant, your life can change in an instant. And I say that to you guys all the time. If you've been listening to my videos, to be listening to the podcast and watching the videos, you know that I always say your life can change at any moment and you better be right with the Lord, right? Um, Anything can happen. We make all this planning and we make all this, oh yeah, by this time next year, by this, anything can happen. We really don't know. So why put away getting right with the Lord, meaning having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? I will never get tired of saying that in every platform that I have, including New Year Fashion Week, communicating, networking with people, talking about that and being bold for Christ, because as a Christian, that's one of my duties. And also, as we get near the end, the second coming of the Lord, right? We see there's a lot of crazy stuff happening. Okay. And when I heard this story, it really shocked me because it was one of the sad story that you're like, oh wow, there was an accident, how sad that is. And then you learn it was them leaving after their sister wedding, and you're like, oh my goodness, that is even more shocking. And then you also learn that it was two brothers involved, two family members gone from that family in an instant, right? And you're like, that is so heartbreaking. And then you learn that one of the wife revealed during the service for one of them that she was actually pregnant. You're like, wow, another loss. This family had gone through a lot of loss, and this is what I'm going to talk to you about briefly, because as I say, when I was during my break, break from the podcast, I was actually working very hard sewing. I noticed that there was a lot of stories coming in, but this story, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so shocking when I heard it. So I'm going to read to you briefly what happened. NHL player Johnny Gaudreau and his younger brother were killed on the evening of their sister's wedding when they were hit by a suspected drunk driver while riding bicycles in their home state of New Jersey. And this happened, I believe it was last weekend on a Friday. New Jersey State Police say that Gaudreau brothers were cycling on a road in Old Men's Township on Thursday night when a man driving an SUV in the same direction attempted to pass the two other vehicles and struck them from behind around 8 p.m., less than half an hour after sunset. They were pronounced dead at the scene, some 35 miles south of Philadelphia. Gaudreau, 31, and his brother Matthew, 29, are Kearney Points, New Jersey native and were set to serve as groomsmen at their sister Katie's wedding that was scheduled for Friday in Philadelphia. So when weddings happen, the whole family gets together. They get together and, enjoying their time the evening before their sister is supposed to be married. And then they go, bicycle riding, and they get hit by a drunk driver. And both of them die instantly. That is so sad, you guys. And this is what I tell you guys, sometimes in our life, in our perception, and we see things going through sickness, and we see people going through difficult times. And there's a lot of misconception about that, a lot of ideology, I guess, in society that people say, well, that will never happen to me because I take care of myself. That's what people say, right? Oh, I know, I take care of my health. Oh no, I take care of this. Like, we don't have control of our life. We are so vulnerable for everything. Okay. And this is why, you have to be careful what you say when it comes to this prideful thing that you say, so-and-so will never, let's just say, be at a nursing home because they, look at them exercising every day. You really don't know. We are, as human beings, we are so vulnerable to anything that can happen to us. One mistake done by somebody, let's say you are allergic to some type of food that make you sick and you go out to eat, one error done by somebody not doing their job well could get you permanently sick. Okay? These two young adults, I guess you can say, right? These two men, brothers, both of them, killed by a drunk driver, somebody being irresponsible. And then, you can go into a train station and you can get hit by somebody, push into the train tracks. Anything can happen. So this is why I keep emphasizing you need to be right with the Lord because life is so fragile, guys. We think in our human reasoning, we believe we have control of things. We make all this planning, like I said. Quite frankly, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. That's why you have to hold on to the Lord. Because just as we come to this world naked, we live with nothing. And the only thing that we can take with ourselves is our salvation through Jesus Christ. Nothing else matters. Right? And the society has it so wrong. And, there are a lot of people, that believe, when the whole pandemic happened, I don't want to get too deep into that. People were like, oh, yeah, give me number one, give me the booster, give me the other. Like, you can't control your life. One thing is to take care of yourself, don't get me wrong, but like anything can happen. And the reason that I say that is that you have to keep an open mind that at the end of the day, no matter how much you follow everything according to whatever, right? Whatever we've been taught to follow, we're vulnerable. We're human beings. We're vulnerable to anything, right? One medication can work great on you and the other one will make somebody allergic to it. And all the way allergic, all the way to even losing their life. That's how vulnerable we are. So the whole emphasis is being right with the Lord, right? Having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. This story, I told you guys, when I heard it, I was like, wow, I cannot imagine what this family went through. Here they are getting together to celebrate the daughter's wedding. And they see the two brothers, and having their time. Oh yeah, they went out to, to do some bicycle cycling, and then they get this phone call. How shocking is that? The evening before their sister was to get married, they were in the wedding. They were part of the whole thing. That's why they were there together with family. It is so sad, you guys. So he was 31, and the brother, Matthew, the younger brother, was 29. And police said the driver, a 43-year-old, another relatively young person, right? The driver, 43-year-old Sean M. Higgins, was suspected of being under the influence of alcohol and charged with 2 counts of theft by auto, along with reckless driving, possession of an open container of alcohol in a motor vehicle. Higgins told the responding officer he had 5 or 6 beers prior to the crashing, admitting to consuming alcohol while driving, according to the criminal complaint obtained by the press. He failed the field sobriety test. The complaint said, though his blood alcohol level was not immediately available, Higgins was jailed at the Salem County facility and will remain there until the detention hearing, it was scheduled for last week. So I wonder what happened with that. Like I said, I believe this happened late last week. So I didn't make the video then, but it says here that Johnny Gaudreau, right, known as Johnny Hockey, played 10 full seasons in the league and was set to enter his third, while the Columbus Blue Jackets, after signing a 7-year, $68 million deal in 2022. He played his first 8 seasons with the Calgary Flames, a tenure that included becoming one of the sport's top player and fan favorite across North America. It says here, just devastating news for all of us connected with the Gaudreau family. It was the person who said that was Jerry York, one of the coaches for the brothers at the Boston College. Let me see what I can get here. Let me see. Well, it's just, people are leaving tributes for them and all of that. I'm sure, it's devastating for everybody connected to that family. Looking as an outsider, it's crazy when I heard it. I was like, oh my goodness. This is like pain on top of pain and on top of pain, because then I heard that the wife of one of them, I believe she was pregnant. Let me just read that. I believe she revealed on the service that she was pregnant. Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau were killed in late August by an alleged drunk driver in New Jersey, leaving behind grieving families and loved ones. Meredith Gaudreau, delivering an eulogy, during Monday's service, revealed that she is 9 weeks pregnant and that she had told Johnny about the pregnancy before his death. This is the reason why I wanted to share this story, guys. I know it's a very sad story, heartbreaking all around. This is just like, your life can change at any moment. And I say that all the time. When I was this past Sunday, I actually drove to the show. I normally don't do that, but I was like, I'll just drive to the show. Like I said, I was struggling. I don't know what it was. I don't know what testimony I'm going to hear about this collection, which I named Cover, by the way. But it was like an internal struggle that I had. And like I said, I questioned everything. And I was like, I'm just going to drive myself, So I drove to New York, coming back right during, I guess it was kind of rush hour. I know it was a Sunday, but it was crazy. And I just felt a little trapped as I was driving myself back home to Connecticut. And um, I am surrounded by these large vehicles. I have an SUV, but I have this big bus almost like on top of my car. And then I have a taxi driver just almost on top of me in the back. And then on the other side, the other car is driving so close, crazy traffic in New York. I'm saying this because I normally wouldn't drive. And I was like, what if something happens? Like at one moment, because the light will be changing, nobody will move because there's no space to move to. I was like, if something happens that we have to get out of the car, I can't even open my door. And in that moment, I was like, what would I do? And just as I was thinking of, you're always thinking, not trying to be negative, but you think about, man, what if that would have happened? Like, what would I do, right? I guess, everybody will help each other, but I was like, what, where would I go? I can't even move the car anywhere. I can't even open the door. There's no space for nothing here. It was jam-packed traffic, right, as usual in New York. And in that moment, I was thinking about it, man, your life can change at any moment. But just as I'm thinking of that, it's almost like you hear the Holy Spirit talking to you. It's like, that's not going to happen. And you think about things like that, like, whatever happens, God will work it out, right? Even if it's a tragic thing, like it happened here, right? And obviously, I'm not comparing the two, right? What happened to them is so tragic, heartbreaking. Even if you go through tragedies in life, right? Hard times, crazy stuff that can happen. Like we said, sometimes we think we have it under control. We are human beings, right? Like we're so vulnerable to everything. If you think about it, we're vulnerable to even eating something that will make us allergic to even death. Something that grows that other people will eat and they will be fine to it. Right? We're vulnerable people. Like that's we are humans, right? But even so, when tragedy happens, in that moment of shock, we don't understand, right? And then we go through a grieving process. And if you're a Christ believing person, which is, like I said, the best thing in your life that you can do right now is to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, because that is the reason for living. That is your creator. Whatever you need, you go to him. Because even in hard times, like it happened here, in this story with the two brothers in the evening of the sister's wedding, even in hard times, you guys, you see how God works it out for you to kind of like, he gives you the time to heal, to go through the grieving process. And then you have this comfort. The Holy Spirit will give you comfort. That's why, how some people go through crazy tragedy and people are like, I'm very surprised how she is. People will say that. And usually that happens when you see somebody who react like that. Rest assured there's something spiritual in them. There's the power of God in them that's giving them comfort, right? Even, the Bible talks about the story about the storm and Jesus is sleeping, right? It's almost like, man, it's a chaotic world. Like your family falling apart, crazy stuff happen. You're like, I'm my hope lies only on the Lord, and my peace comes from Him, and that's it, right? So let me know what you guys think about this story. We wish the family the best. They're gonna have to go through that whole period of healing, grieving, and moving forward. But even so, when I heard that the wife was pregnant, I was like, there's like even all the sadness that she's going through, she's gonna have a joy that's growing inside of her. It's almost hard to describe it, but there's a joy that's coming to her, that is growing inside of her amidst the chaotic times that she's going through. There is what they say when people are pregnant, right? The bundle of joy, right? There's a bundle of joy that even so, it's almost like it's tragic for the baby. It's not going to meet the dad or anything like that, but this baby will bring the joy and the comfort to the mom and to the whole family, probably, right? So it's almost like something to look forward, because I know when people, you hear the story, people can go into deep depression, right? Regardless if they're believer in God or not, right? The enemy will always look for an open door. So, especially when something tragic like this happens. So, even in the midst of this tragic event that they went through, it's so crazy how there's something growing that's going to be joyful to her, that's coming to the whole family. So that's such a blessing, even looking at it like that. So let me know what you guys think about this. Thank you so much, everybody, so much for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much for listening in the podcast. Thank you so much. Once again, I say this all the time. Everybody who follows me on Spotify really means a lot. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day, everyone. God bless.